Hey, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is Cody Cox, Trinity National Holdings. I'm just a little bit late on this Friday afternoon because it's been a real day. It's been a real big day. So I just wanted to touch base here a little bit on this Friday afternoon. I'm kind of at home. I had an appointment today with in an interview, if you will. I interviewed a CPA, and as I'm driving to this meeting, it just kind of reminded me that this is kind of the real deal. This note investing thing is. Hey, how you doing? I'm doing well, thanks. So no, this note investing thing is the real deal. It's a real business, and if you're out there and you're trying to be an entrepreneur, you're trying to do some things and trying to better your life, and one of the things I know about being an entrepreneur, it's not about the money, it's about the freedom. And that's why, the life of an investor is trying to set yourself up so that, you don't have to go into this day job, which I'm still doing. I'm still going into this day job. But it's the real deal. I mean, you've got to spend the money. You've got expenses that are happening. I've got to do the books right. And if you're working with joint venture investors and they're helping you fund these transactions, you got to do the books right. And so these are things that you've got to be doing if you're going to go out there and treat it like a business. As I was talking to the CPA, both him and I realized, talked about this is the real deal, and it's not a hobby. If you're going to do this, it is not a hobby. And so I encourage you that you've got to approach each and every time that it's not a hobby. I get home from this meeting and there's a package waiting on the front door for me, and it's a collateral file. Earlier in the week I'd purchased 2 notes, and the collateral file on one of them shows up right away. So that's exciting to hear that. I'm waiting for the second one. Second one might have a little hiccup in it that we're working on and seeing if it's going to be a new adventure, if this is actually something that's accurate, that the borrower is claiming that this loan was paid off or should have been charged off a long time ago. So there's no reason to believe she's accurate, but we have to go through that step. So all this is real. It's exciting as I'm working through this year, through 2018. To try and totally replace my day job with this note business. We're talking about entity structuring. What's the best way for an entity structure? Do I need to keep it as a 1065 limited liability partnership tax return, or do at some point in time do we switch it over to 1120S small business, pay ourselves a salary? And so there's a lot of things with this entity structuring, and you got to take the time, you got to do the research, you've got to make sure that you're positioning yourself. Again, in my situation, I've got to keep every one of my joint venture investors solid and do the job that I'm doing for them, and provide for them as well as for me, and obviously for the homeowner. So, I've got another foreclosure coming up on the 22nd, which is something I just want to avoid if I can, but I can't always do that. We're working with another homeowner that understands that she can't keep the house, and we're trying to negotiate a deed in lieu on that, and it goes back and forth. But I think we come up with a final solution so she can exit that house gracefully, and that's kind of what we want to do. If we can't keep them in it, let's find a way to get them out of the house gracefully. And I think we've come up with a way on this particular one. It's a little more paperwork, and again, it's running a business. So anyway, it's a great Friday afternoon. We're supposed to have a great weekend here in the Northwest. I know it's not a cruise in the Caribbean, but those will be coming. And so anyway, on this Friday, enjoy your weekend. It's a 3-day weekend. I've got some Excel spreadsheets that I get to play with over the weekend. Oh, I got a new computer this week. It's kind of exciting that I've had this old desktop for, a dozen years, and it's still running Windows XP, and I decided, it's starting to deteriorate, starting to break down, time to get a new one. So I got this new fancy Windows 10 Microsoft Surface Book 2. So I can take it with me, and it's very lightweight. But it's like relearning something else and getting all the applications and hooking up the printers and the wireless and all this sort of stuff. So anyway, I'm glad it's a 3-day weekend. I'm going to take advantage of it in a lot of different ways. But again, it's entrepreneurs. There is no such thing as a weekend, and a lot of times you got stuff you got to do. Meeting another. Well, this is an old one of my investors, one we've already funded a deal with, but he's just a little nervous and about some things because he's been burnt on a previous with somebody else, and so we're having coffee in the morning, and it'll be great. Keep these guys satisfied and make sure they understand. So anyway, with that, again, Cody Cox on my Friday Stroll, signing off for this weekend. And if you'd like to find out more about what I do from note investing, then shoot me an instant message, or I'd love to get you hooked up on my weekly Sunday emailers. They're not newsletters because it's more of just kind of what my business is and what's going on, and a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So shoot me an instant message with your email on it. I'll get you hooked up on it. Anyway, thanks a lot, and just I'd like to leave you with this, that together our potential is infinite. So thanks a lot for listening, and we'll see you soon. Blessings.